The push for transparency is stronger than ever these days, especially in government. Yet when Oklahoma lawmakers passed the Open Records and Open Meeting Acts, they exempted themselves. So you can get information from city government, counties, towns, even state agencies, but not from the state legislature. Our Oklahoma Impact team investigates. Here's Alex Cameron.
We learned about this when we looked into accusations of political corruption at the Capitol. We wanted to know who added language to a bill at the end of session creating a high-paying job at the medical examiner's office, allegedly for a legislator. We asked for notes, emails, and other information from the bill's author, Senator Glenn Coffey. Our request was denied since legislators don't have to follow the Open Records Act. Oklahoma Impact's Amy Lester started asking why.
You're recognized for what purpose?
When we learned the legislature exempted itself from the Open Records and Open Meeting Acts, we paused, almost shocked for a moment.
That is an unfair exception.
This also surprised students in a summer journalism camp.
We need to be able to be aware of what's going on. I mean, we don't want the whole closed-door secret kind of thing going on.
Is that 2413 the one you're interested in?
Yeah.
One person not stunned by this because he's an expert on the issue is their teacher, OSU professor Joey Sennett.
When you have closed government, when you allow a group to operate in secrecy, that breeds corruption, that breeds incompetency. And that certainly, I think, happens down at our state legislature.
When the Open Meeting Act passed more than 30 years ago and the Open Records Act 8 years later, they made rules forcing boards, commissions, cities, counties, school districts, and nearly all governmental bodies to give notice of their meetings, open them to the public, and allow you to inspect almost every record, including documents, emails, notes, videos, calendars, and receipts. Legislators left themselves out, only saying they have to release records involving how they spend money.
We catch people lying, elected officials lying, saying one thing and doing another. Well, in the legislature, they've certainly kept the shield up, so we have more difficulty in finding that out.
By operating under a different set of rules than other agencies or officials, it appears, at least to some, that the legislature is trying to hide something. The original author of the Open Records Act says that's not the case.
What the act is really about is how are public funds being spent.
Former Senate President Pro Tem Stratton Taylor says putting the legislative exemption in the act was likely the only way lawmakers would approve it. He stresses the purpose of it was not to conceal anything they were doing, but to protect constituents who email or write letters with confidential concerns.
I think there's no question that if you don't allow citizens the right to communicate on sensitive matters, such as family members having AIDS, possibilities of child abuse or other things, that it would be a mistake.
That said, other lawmakers believe not including the legislature sends out the wrong message.
It gives us an air about ourselves, that we are above that, and we're the boss. We regulate down to you what you're going to do, but we don't have to do it.
Representative Lucky Lammons tried to force the legislature to take up this issue last session, but it didn't happen. Lammons is not running for re-election, so his chance is over.
Yes. I think everybody knows that that would be the right thing to do. That's something that the next legislature should look at. But it's going to be difficult because we have exempted ourselves from that act forever.
Next session, Representative Jason Murphy plans to be the one pushing for change.
The confidentiality issue is just a bad excuse for saying that this law shouldn't apply to the legislature. That's easily accounted for by a clear set of laws that everyone would follow.
Murphy is going to tailor a new law specifically dealing with the legislature.
I think we need to look at how other states do it and basically find some of the best practices and apply them here.
Maybe legislators will eventually follow the Open Records and Meeting Acts. After all, those passionate about this don't see any reason to leave them out.
Really, there's no real good justification, is there?
No, I don't see any real justification except that it's inconvenient to them to let the public look over their shoulder.
So declare the bill to have passed.
Amy Lester, the Oklahoma Impact Team.
Both Speaker of the House Chris Benge and Senate President Pro Tem Glenn Coffey defend the Open Records exemption. In a statement, Coffey said, subjecting the legislature to open records requirements could chill the flow of communications within and from outside the Capitol. For Oklahoma Impact, I'm Alex Cameron.
29 other states forced their legislatures to follow their state's open records and meeting laws.
Well, amid the